Hello there, this is the Handshake here on New Vision TV with me, Lynn Komjisha, and I'm joined by Paul Bushadizi. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
A lot has been going on.
This is Uganda. Never a dull moment.
It's not only Uganda. Even our neighbors here in Kenya, there's been an election debacle going on. Now, Uganda, we are having a lot of, as usual, demonstrations over A, B, C, D, and Z politics. And how I don't know, doesn't this affect us, the economy, as people, the business people?
Yeah, well, of course it does, but just a bit of background. The Kenyans went to the polls in, this is September, they went to the polls in August.
Yes.
And there was a dispute about the result of the polls. The Supreme Court at the end of, the beginning of September, threw the result out, or rather they nullified the elections. And so Kenyans are back in an campaign mode until now. I think October 27th is the day they have 26th. They have set for
26 years.
Yeah, for the elections. Of course, in Uganda, you know, it's hard to miss. We have a debate about lifting the age limit.
Yeah.
The NRM MPs in the House have resolved to bring a bill to House, which amends the part of the Constitution which puts age limit for presidential candidates at 75 years old.
Yeah.
And so that's what's causing a lot of our agitation in Uganda.
So how does this impact on the economy?
No, of course, I think it's obvious that capital investors do not like uncertainty. Where there's uncertainty, they'd rather not be there. So investors look at situations like this, you know, where there seems to be uncertainty in Kenya with their election, whether it's even going to go ahead or not. In Uganda, with what would be the reaction of the population to a lifting of the age limit. So if you have your $100 million, let's say $100 million for argument's sake, and you wanted to put a factory somewhere in Namamve right now, it would be a bit foolhardy to commit yourself now. You would want to see how these things play out.
Yes.
And so it affects us all. I mean, if there are projects that would have brought 100,000 jobs in 2017 now, they're because of the uncertainty. And Kenya is very important for us because 80%, up to 80% of our trade goes through Kenya.
True.
They are also our biggest trading partner in and of themselves.
True.
So, you know, what happens in Kenya affects us. So you can imagine now in Kenya you have got that uncertainty. In Uganda you have this uncertainty. You know, investors, local and international, even me, if I had my money, you know, I'd rather, if I was going to borrow money to start a project, I tell the bank, you hold on, let's see how things pan out, then I shall come for the money.
Yeah.
So I think that's a challenge. That's on a macro level, that these decisions that bring economic activity are now being put on hold because of the situation.
The political situation. So what can we do? How can we protect our businesses and stuff?
Well, I mean, for starters, just to point out, you know, these are the normal processes in a growing countries.
Yes.
Some of these things they're never really resolved finally. In Uganda, for example, you can have the age limit issue. We talk about it one way or another. One side wins, on one side loses. You can almost bet it will come back somewhere down the line. It's a normal process. You know, I think the challenge for many of us is that we are in the forest. We can't tell the forest from the trees. we are in the things. So it looks very, you know, very worrying and all that kind of business. But this is it's a process that has to. You almost can't dodge it. You can try to prevent it, but it's going to happen. Especially if you commit yourself to democracy, where you can talk what you want, talk what we want, and hopefully we will have a discussion, and either the better argument wins or the bigger numbers win.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I mean, as businessmen, of course, businessmen, you know, economic players in our countries, it just reminds us the need for long-term plans which take into account all these eventualities. You can't start a business and just hope everything will remain the same. Change has to be factored into your plans, I think.
Yeah.
That's inevitable. Even the safest places. I mean, look at America. Donald Trump is just, doing all he's doing and causing uncertainty also in America.
Yes.
So even the safest places, it happens. I mean, the UK. Last year they thought they were going to stay in the European Union, which seems a more logical thing, but they they exited, or they voted to exit. So there's uncertainty in the UK. It's a fact of life here. So I mean, businessmen have to be thinking.
Yeah.
And how do you operate in such a way that hopefully, if the brown stuff hits the fan, you're not in trouble.
Business is risk-taking itself.
Absolutely. Actually, it is managing risk. If you cover the downside, then the making money will take care of itself.
Yeah.
That's the theory.
Well, precisely. Just like that. So don't worry, embrace these things. Your country is growing, so you might need to take, do one thing or the other and help it grow as well, because these are things supposed to happen in a growing economy, in a growing country. Most countries go through these things and they eventually come up. So don't, feel bad about it. Well, if you do something about it. Well, that's all we had for you here on The Handshake with Paul Busharizi and myself. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.